What's up, folks? I'm Brian Jester, co-founder here at Occupy Fantasy, single game $1 million winner, here with the first of 4 Showdown single game slate videos for this weekend's wild card games. First up, we have the Texans and the Bills Saturday single game slate, both on FanDuel and DraftKings. Going to give some picks, some lineup advice here, and a quick 10-minute video to help you out with your lineups. So before we start, go ahead and click that subscribe button below. That way you get notified when all of these videos are released tonight and this weekend. Be sure to check out occupyfantasy.com, where our daily plug will highlight important notes, top plays, strategies for every single game, as well as the main slate this weekend, both FanDuel and DraftKings. Go check that out. All right, let's start with this game. Bills and Texans. Total is 43.5 points. That total has moved up 2 points. It's one of 3 games where the total has moved up this weekend. And the Texans are short home favorites, 2.5 point home faves. So if we're looking at low risk contests to start, what we like to do, and this game has one of the better low risk outlooks of the weekend, we like to get in both running backs, both quarterbacks, and then fill in from there. So a couple ways we can do that in this game. So let's just say we wanted to start with the home favorite quarterback in our captain spot on DraftKings in low risk contests. Remember, 50-50s, double ups, head-to-heads, contests where you double your money. We get Josh Allen in there. We get Devin Singletary, who is dominating snaps and touches out of the Bills' backfield. And then we get Carlos Hyde, who leads the team in red zone opportunities since week 13. Very likely to get 15-plus touches here. Add in Carlos Hyde. This gives us the best touchdown baseline for this game. Likely to lock up all the touchdowns in this game with these 4 guys. Now, just $1,900 left per player. That makes it pretty difficult because there aren't any guys, or really many guys down here that fit the bill. No underpriced player as a result of a role change. So what we have to do is get creative in the captain spot. So what we'd like to do in this situation, first we try to see if, hey, can we fit one of these running backs? Let's swap the cheapest running back, Carlos Hyde, with Deshaun Watson. Now, home favorite, still in a good spot, definitely captain worthy. So let's try Carlos Hyde at captain. Let's get Deshaun back in there. Now, $3K left per player, still not a ton. There are some decent guys in here, but nothing low risk, high floor. So what we'd like to do here at Occupy Fantasy, especially on DraftKings, where we have the salary multiplier to help us fit in these 4 guys, go with a defense or kicker at captain. So Texans, 2.5 point home favorites against Josh Allen. Whoops. Let's get the MVP going here. Or captain. Texans, captain. And now we go with the 4 guys that we want. Our 4 core players. Watson, Singletary, Carlos Hyde. 4,200 left per player. That very easily allows us a kicker or, just a kicker, really. We could probably get a little more creative and get the Bills captain, but here we are. Either way, this is a great way to start your low-risk lineups on DraftKings. Now, FanDuel, not quite as clear-cut. Let's hop over there. Now, on FanDuel, because there is no salary multiplier, you almost have to have the quarterback in your captain spot, especially in a matchup like this where we have 2 guys with running ability. So Deshaun Watson with the biggest team total, that's the guy you want in your MVP spot in your low-risk contest. Josh Allen, we fit in next. Singletary, guaranteed the most touches. Now, if we put in Carlos Hyde like we did on DraftKings, that leaves us with $6K left. And, there are actually some decent guys, Fells and Akins, particularly on Houston's side. But if you want a little bit higher floor, what we'd recommend, now, Carlos Hyde is not going to get all the touches. Duke Johnson will get some of the touches, especially out of the backfield. So his pass catching obviously helps his outlook. And that gives us 9,500 left per player to where we can fit in either one of the kickers we like. And that's probably the way I would recommend going here. Now, you can always change out Singletary for Hyde. You can always add in DeAndre Hopkins. However, on FanDuel, we feel this is the best way to go. All right, what about high-risk contests? Now, there's some other games this weekend that have much better high-risk outlooks, but in a game with a 43.5 point total, what's that mean? We generally like to use running backs in this situation. So, captains we like, Carlos Hyde, Devin Singletary, of course. You can go Duke Johnson as well if you think Houston is playing from behind some. However, you can't get away from John Brown in this matchup. He's one of just 2 underperforming receivers this week on our underperforming receivers list. He didn't play week 17, but if you look at weeks 14, 15, and 16 when he did play, massively underproduced his air yards, his targets. If you look, 11 targets and just 1 touchdown. Sorry, not 11 catches on 22 targets, so there's a 50% catch rate, tons and tons of air yards, and barely eclipsed 100 yards receiving. So assuming he gets similar volume in this one, and there's no reason why he shouldn't, John Brown has one of the highest upsides on the slate, even though it has a lower game total. Now, of course, can't forget DeAndre Hopkins as well. Without Will Fuller, more than likely, let's check out Will Fuller's game log here. He's listed as questionable officially, but many sources were telling James Palmer, a NFL insider, that it's a long shot for Fuller to play. So if he can't go, Kenny Stills will be the number 2 receiver. Kiki Kuti should get some looks as the wide receiver 3. And in games Fuller misses, Hopkins' volume increases. So look for Hopkins, even though a tough matchup with Tre'Davious White of the Bills, should have the most volume of the slate as well. If we go back to FanDuel for a second, just remember, a lot of the strategy I just discussed is DraftKings specific. FanDuel, it's really tough to get away from, especially mobile quarterbacks, out of the MVP spot. So even in high-risk contests, you're going to want Watson and Allen as some of your 2 preferred MVPs. But if you do this, the way to differentiate yourself is leaving $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 left over, using guys like, scroll down here, guys like, where are they? Here they are. Jordan Akins, Darren Fells, Dawson Knox, Kiki Kuti. These guys who are $2,000, $3,000 less expensive than some of these mid-tier guys. Now, the odds that they outscore them, they're not likely to outscore them, but they can outscore them, and that's the thing you have to think about. It's a range of outcomes, and it's not a guarantee that, for instance, Cole Beasley outscores Jordan Akins or Kenny Stills outscores Kiki Kuti, even though they're priced $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 more. That's something you need to think about when you're playing high-risk contests. All right, that'll do it for this video. Be sure to click that subscribe button below to get the next 3 videos for this playoffs wildcard single game showdown analysis. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions about this slate, leave a comment below, and we'll definitely get back to it before the slate starts at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Saturday. Check out the daily plug, occupyfantasy.com, for full thoughts on this game as well as the other 3 games of the weekend. And you can follow me on Twitter at Brian Jester FF. Follow us at Occupy Fantasy. Appreciate you listening. Good luck, and we'll see you soon.